This video made possible with support from Vitcher.
Handheld gaming PCs have been around for a while now, just long enough that we have taken for granted that we can enjoy these games that are designed for consoles or high-end gaming computers and play them anywhere. No, now we want more. Better battery life, enhanced performance, and an easier-to-use experience. Well, it turns out Xbox and Asus have been listening because their answer is the ROG Xbox Ally. This isn't just another Windows handheld. In fact, they've built this thing from the ground up to basically hide Windows and put gaming first. My name is Drew Kozub. I run the consumer tech website geekingout.ca and do an ongoing national TV segment about tech and video games. I've been using the ROG Xbox Ally and the ROG Xbox Ally X for about 2 weeks ahead of their release. Today, I'm going to be sharing my hands-on experience with this console so far, the good and the bad, so you can decide if it's right for you. Let's get the basics out of the way. What is powering this thing? The ROG Xbox Ally has a gorgeous 7-inch 1080p touchscreen that runs at a very smooth 120Hz refresh rate. Inside, it's running on an AMD Ryzen Z2A processor with 4 cores, 16 gigs of LPDDR5 RAM, and a 512GB solid-state drive for your games. You also get a pretty decent 60-watt-hour battery. So on paper, this is a very capable gaming machine, but the specs don't even tell the whole story of how great this gaming console is, because the real magic is in how it feels when you're using it. The first thing you'll notice when you pick this up is the ergonomics. Asus added these little fins to the grips, and it makes a surprising difference. The console actually feels lighter than the last-gen Ally, even though it isn't. It's just because the weight is distributed so well, it just feels so comfortable when you're holding it or in the midst of a really long gaming session. They absolutely nailed the ergonomics on this thing. The display is bright, it's sharp, and that 120Hz refresh rate makes everything look incredibly fluid, and it's the exact same panel that they put in the more expensive Ally X, so you won't have any FOMO. I'm in Canada, and the console costs $799 here. For that price, you might expect to get an OLED panel. However, that's not the case here. Generally, those OLED panels require more power, which would then come at the expense of your battery life. So I assume that the reason that we have an LCD screen is to keep the cost down, even though $799 is still quite a bit of money, and to conserve the battery. The physical design is great, but that doesn't mean much if the software is a pain to use, and this is where the ROG Xbox Ally completely changes the game, literally. This is the first handheld with a dedicated Xbox full-screen experience. When you turn it on, you're not dumped into the Windows desktop. You get the slick interface that truly makes it feel like a gaming console. It's designed to push Windows into the background and dedicate the device's attention to the game that you're playing. And it pulls all your games from Xbox, Steam, the EA app, wherever, into this nice unified library. There's no more jumping between different launchers. The overall impact here is you're getting to your games faster, which makes a world of difference. Obviously, if you're using this thing, you're wanting to game, so it makes sense to get to the games and put those front and center instead of booting up into Windows and then having to navigate to the Xbox app. You just get an experience that feels much better, even compared to the previous Ally models. Now that we've talked about the good, let's dig into some of the not so good. There's a few pain points I've experienced with this console, but before we get into that, I want to make sure that you know about this. While both the ROG Xbox Ally and ROG Xbox Ally X have the same 7-inch display, what if you could enjoy those games on a display 20 times that big and still be mobile? Vitcher is a company with an excellent lineup of smart glasses that can enhance any gaming experience, including the one on the new ROG Xbox Ally consoles. While the company designed their Luma series glasses to work with Switch 2 consoles, those same optimizations make it great for the new portable Xbox consoles as well. You can give yourself a 152-inch virtual display anywhere you take your new ROG Xbox Ally. When you're spending a lot of money on a console, you want to make sure that any accessories you buy are going to be worthwhile. And as someone who has been using various models of Vitcher smart glasses for the last 2 years, these are excellent, not just for gaming, but also for productivity and watching movies, particularly with their immersive 3D mode on. Movies look incredible as the glasses convert 2D into 3D into real time for this next level experience. Most recently, I've been switching between the Viture Luma Pro glasses, and I've just started testing out the more powerful Viture Ultra models, which add additional front-facing cameras to expand capabilities and controls. Right now, using the special promo code in the description of this video, you can order the latest smart glasses and accessories from Viture with a 10% discount. Back to the ROG Xbox Ally now. The ergonomics are great, the new Xbox UI is awesome, but there's just a few things that are worth flagging. One design feature I don't like is the button layout change. With the new console, you get a dedicated Xbox button. This is great. They moved the Armory button, which is what you use to dial in specific ROG performance features and game settings. That's fine, but the Library button, it's now where the Armory button used to be, which has now resulted in me unintentionally leaving games so many times. If you haven't used the previous Ally consoles before, I don't think this is going to slow you down. However, if you are a current Ally user, it's going to take some adjusting to get used to the new button layout. There's two other drawbacks on the entry-level console which might impact the way you're going to be able to use it. One of those is the lack of Thunderbolt 4 support, and the other has to do with the DisplayPort technology. This console has DisplayPort 1.4, where the higher-end model has DisplayPort 2.1 technology. This is mostly going to impact how you're connecting to multiple displays, and maybe you won't have to connect to more than one display. The more basic DisplayPort and the lack of Thunderbolt 4 could impact your experience related to connecting to docking stations or external displays, and the degree to which you're limited is going to depend on the hardware and accessories you're pairing with those consoles. But for high-end things, or maybe future-proofing down the road, those are considerations that you might want to think about before you invest in this console versus the more pricey version. Okay, we can switch back to good stuff now because there's a couple things I didn't get a chance to mention yet. I talked earlier on about the Xbox user interface that puts games first on the console. The device also optimizes how quickly you can get into those games. It does this in a few ways. One is reducing the load times thanks to something called Advanced Shader Delivery. For a quick primer and reminder, shaders are the small programs that tell the hardware how to render graphics, and traditionally they have to be compiled or prepared when you first launch a game, which can lead to initial long loading times. Eventually, once you have them installed on your system, this isn't a big deal, but for that first playthrough, it can be agonizing. It's the reason that Starfield on Xbox took so incredibly long the first time you loaded the game or the first time you visited a new world. Advanced Shader Delivery pre-compiles these shaders in the cloud. When you download a game, the prepared shaders come with it, significantly reducing those initial wait times so you can jump right into the action faster. This was one of many things I noticed and loved while I was testing out both of the ROG Xbox consoles that made the device just feel different. You get into the game sooner, you stay more immersed, there's less distractions. Task Switcher is also great for easily and intuitively flipping between open games and other things like Discord or whatever else you might want to get into without really taking you out of the moment. And one last thing that's been very helpful, a little bit confusing though, is the handheld compatibility program paired with Windows Performance Fit. Handheld compatibility program is this little badge that appears next to titles letting you know if they're handheld optimized, meaning they're ready to rock and you don't need to tweak any settings unless you want to, versus mostly compatible, which means you might have to spend some time customizing those settings before you start the game. Separate but related, Windows Performance Fit is a different rating system. Should play great refers to titles that have a consistent 60 frames per second, and should play well titles will have a 30 frames per second or better experience. So, when you're browsing games, if you see that they're both handheld optimized and should play great, you know those are the ones that are ready for both compatibility and performance on your new Ally console. Now, the very important $799 question, because that is the retail price of the ROG Xbox Ally here in Canada, where I'm based. There's also the $1299 price tag for the ROG Xbox Ally X. What are you actually missing out on if you choose the base model instead of the premium? That extra cash for the Ally X gets you a significant boost in a few different areas. A more powerful processor, first of all. The Ally X has a beefier 8-core processor that can run more demanding games at higher settings. a dedicated AI chip. Now, AI in gaming can be a buzzword or a trigger, but this is going to power future features like AI-powered upscaling, improving the frame rate of your games. Even if those frames don't actually exist, AI can fill in some of those gaps. The Ally X has more and faster RAM, that'd be 24 gigs versus the 16 in the base model. Double the storage, which I actually don't know if that's such a big deal because you can either expand the storage through the micro SD slot, or you could open up the console and put in a different PCIe solid-state drive, so maybe that's not as big of an issue. The Ally X also has that USB 4 port, which is Thunderbolt 4 compatible, meaning you can connect it to an external graphics card for a desktop-level experience if you did want to do that. So, what about the standard ROG Xbox Ally? Who is that one for? If you're a hardcore PC gamer who needs to run every new release on like the ultra best settings and you want the absolute best performance, then you're probably going to want to save up and get the Ally X. But if you're an Xbox fan and you want a great portable gaming experience to hit your Game Pass library, or maybe you're a person who's just been waiting on the sidelines for a while for a portable gaming PC that got rid of all that PC jankiness and just felt like a good console, then this $799 Xbox ROG Ally is probably going to be a knockout for you. This is a console that promises to give you a true portable Xbox gaming experience, and it puts the focus back where it should be, on the games rather than on the hardware itself. So, what do you think? Is the ROG Xbox Ally going to be enough for you? You're going to go to the Ally X, or are you going to keep on using what you've currently got? Please let me know in the comments section. And if you have any questions about either of the new consoles, please reach out in the comments as well, because I've been testing them both out. For a deeper dive with even more info, you can hit up my website, geekingout.ca. And I also want to mention, if you already subscribed to the channel, thank you. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, you would probably be shocked to find out what a huge difference even one new subscriber can make in terms of YouTube showing my videos to more people. So if you decided after watching this video to subscribe to the channel, thank you so much for the support. I really appreciate it.
And one last shout out to Vitcher. I genuinely think that their glasses are amazing for gaming and entertainment. So if you want to pick up a pair and try them yourself, don't forget to use the promo code in the description of this video.
My name is Drew Kozub. Thanks so much for watching, and thank you for geeking out with me.